Maverick fans, welcome to this week's episode of Chattin Mavericks, the official fan podcast of all things Maverick hockey.
What's up, Maverick Nation? Well, we are well into the offseason here in college hockey land. We got a lot to talk about here before we bring on Jon Poburka, better known as Maverick Hockey Recruits on Twitter or X. He's going to break down the pipeline, the recruits coming in here to Mankato. But Mavs had another great portal, bringing in some serious reinforcement in all positions of the line chart, thick on the back end, as some are saying. Chat, we haven't talked in a while, guys. This is fun to be back. We got a lot to get to and not a lot of time to do it, so hopefully we can keep this thing on cruise control and get through it all. But Chad, how are you? It's been a while, Mr. Big Bag of Knuckles.
It has been a while. It's as Eminem would say, it feels so good to be back. Honestly, after the season ended, I pretty much for like 2 weeks, that Pablo Escobar meme where he's just sitting in the swing, like waiting for nothing. Yeah. That was me for 2 weeks straight.
Just standing in the pool.
Yeah. Like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
But then AAA season got started and, spring activities got going and now I'm all over the place again. But boy, yeah, it's been a fun couple of weeks for the Mavericks and we'll get into it, but you're right. We got a lot to talk about.
Juts, you've been to some ECHL pro hockey recently. What have you been watching?
Yeah, I went down to visit Jackson last weekend. Just got home. They played Tracy on Friday, or both games, but Tracy only played Friday, and then Jackson got lit up pretty good in that Friday game, so he didn't play Saturday. So I went down there 4 times.
Where's there? Where did you go?
Kansas City. Sorry.
Got it. Okay.
Kansas City Mavericks.
Because your cousin plays for the Kansas City Mavericks.
Yeah, with Lucas Sauter.
Got it.
So
okay.
I went down there for 4 games, and he's played 1.5 periods.
Sound.
But no, it was pretty cool to see Tracy playing pro, but really weird because he was wearing all of his MSU gear. Like he hasn't gotten yet, and I'm cheering against him. So I felt like really shitty on Friday night. Like I'm like, oh god, he's wearing all his MSU gear, but I really want him to get scored on.
That's funny.
Jackson buried 1 on Friday. Jackson got the first goal of the playoffs. Sauter got the 4th goal of the night. And then Souds got both on Saturday. He had a 2-1 overtime winner.
Nice. I saw the team posted that on Twitter, and I'm like, I really hope those weren't against Tracy.
No,
because I don't think the team would post them if they were.
Yeah, right. What would they do? Have a night South? Yeah, Tracy getting scored on.
Scott Nelson's got like the red button and the blue button. Just which one do I hit on the?
Right. Trace definitely got hung out to dry by his team on Friday night. Like his team played miles better on Saturday. But it was a lot of fun, and just so everyone knows, I am the greatest junior high baseball coach in history. So
there you go, Tracy. If you're listening, and once you get your pro pads, I'll pay top dollar for the old ones. I think we're about the same size.
I feel like we missed a golden content opportunity to put a drunk Juts and a concussed Jackson Jutting in the same room and just have them talk for like 5 minutes.
That would have been very interesting.
He's not concussed. They kept him out precautionarily.
Yeah, I technically never had COVID either.
Yeah. No offense to Tracy's team, but Kansas City Mavericks are just way better than than the Night Monsters. It's night and day.
Way cooler name though.
Agreed. Kansas City Mavericks and the Tahoe Night Monsters. But no, Tracy's doing pretty well. I talked to him for like 10 minutes after the game Saturday. And then I talked to Lucas to get him out the 2 days I was there. Fun. Dude, their team has them set up in some nice apartments for free.
Nice.
Best.
Does Tracy mention me?
Did Tracy mention you?
Did he ever talk about me?
He came out of the locker room and actually looked at me and said, fuck, I wish you were a big bag.
I guarantee he didn't say that.
We didn't.
Okay, what? The F part or the big bag part? Because he didn't say either.
Oh shit, eh?
Hmm.
He didn't say
Huh?
song.
Well, guys, like we said, we got a lot to get to here. I just want to run through these rule changes quick, and then I'll throw it right to you guys to discuss about it. But there's a pretty good chunk of rules that are being discussed at the coaches' meetings down in Florida right now. This is from Schloss on Twitter. If you're not reading Schloss, I don't know what you're doing. If you're looking to get updated on college hockey stuff. But the main ones that they're looking at that he mentioned, they're looking whether to allow video technology on the bench to help coaches decide whether to challenge calls. They're looking to whether they should penalize teams for putting the puck over the glass in the defensive zone, just as the NHL does for the delay game penalty.
Not even defensemen. I thought
they're looking whether they should take away the extra timeout and overtime during the regular season. They're trying to look at a couple different ways to curb diving and embellishment. Whether to penalize teams for getting challenges wrong, even if they have the timeout left, how to handle overtime, possibly extending it to 7 minutes. That would be interesting. Looking to make hand passes legal in the D zone, among many others. And the big one that kind of came out today, and this is probably going to be the main talking point here, but the NCAA is moving forward with this 5-on-5 eligibility rule change, or at least they're moving forward with talks. Rules would not be retroactive, which means the players who had eligibility to play next year under this rule, they possibly would not have eligibility now.
Yes.
What this rule is saying is that a player has 5 years of NCAA eligibility from when they turn 19 or graduate high school, whichever comes first. Glancing over it, there's a great write-up on College Hockey News. Schloss has a great write-up too, if you want to learn more about it. And as this becomes more finalized, I mean, it definitely has roster implications on our team, has roster implications all over the NCAA. Chad, I can throw it to you first. I mean, on that one, and I guess all the other ones I kind of ran through there. What's your kind of takeaways there? That'd be pretty crazy if that comes about.
Yeah, I mean, the 5-year eligibility thing, I don't even know how that could be possible to be effective immediately, because we've already gone through the portal phase. Teams have already decided who they're bringing in. If all of a sudden they find out next week, they're like, you got to get rid of these 3 guys, it would be ruined. Coaches would be floundering to try to put a roster together. I feel like if they're going to do it, let's start doing it the following season so that everybody can prepare and be ready and understand what's expected of them, rather than like, oh, by the way, you got to get rid of these handful of guys because of this stupid rule, which, by the way, I still don't fully understand how this helps.
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
What good does it do?
The only thing I can think of is, like, on the college game day when you're like, the 9th-year tight end is going to have a huge game today. Like,
sure,
that is like that is what, like, for football I understand, and like I honestly can kind of see it from every sport besides hockey, because we're the only sport that I could think of in college that you go at least 1 to 2 years in between high school before you go to college. So this is going to basically say, this is going to screw the USHL. This is going to screw high school hockey, because
that's
anyone with a pulse that wants to play college hockey is going to leave after their sophomore year to play juniors for 2 years. And then it's still not even bigger and better kids, because you're playing against juniors and seniors still. The whole point of juniors is to get bigger and stronger for 2 more years before you go play these 24, 25-year-olds. It's defeating the purpose of what college hockey is all about. Like, sometimes, like the basketball, football, baseball, you're going in right after college or high school. 5 years is kind of what you should have, right? You should have a redshirt year, maybe a medical year, and then, play your 4 years. You shouldn't get 5 medical red shirts. I get that. It sucks, but you shouldn't be in college for 15 years.
If this is to stop Miami from having a 7th-year tight end, if that's what this whole thing is for, this is absolutely stupid.
Then make it about that, right?
Yeah.
Make it a rule for football. Like, the big thing was hockey has its own governance board now under the NCAA. So why can't we make that decision? And maybe they will. Who knows? There's going to be lawsuits.
I think there's a 0% chance that it starts this year. It's going to get held up in court for 2 to 3 years, I would say. And then the NCAA or our college hockey board has to do something like, hey, like I said, juniors. And you think about how these kids go to juniors for 2 years. That would mean if they play till they age out, they only get 3 years of college hockey.
Yeah.
You're technically not even getting a degree in that time.
Until I can
summer
hear a
class.
sound logical reason for why this should be supported, I don't support it at all. As
Same
far
here.
as the game rules that you mentioned, like I'm fine with almost all of them. I think the delay a game in the defensive zone thing is kind of stupid because
I don't.
How many times is it deliberate?
A lot.
No, it's not.
Well, okay, it's trying to like stop if they're trying to bank it out and it goes out. Like that's just like you shouldn't be able to do that. I thought that was already a rule. I thought defensemen couldn't shoot it out in their own zone.
I mean,
But I guess I was wrong. And then the hand pass rule, that should be a rule already, where you can hand pass it in your own zone.
yeah. Yeah,
I
all the
guess
other rules
to-
are fine.
Yeah.
Except
To me, what
just,
it looks like is they're just trying to. I mean, now with this WHL thing, they're trying. The NCAA is trying to say, we are the league that you go to before you go play in the NHL. So they're just trying to adopt more NHL rules. Is maybe
I get
something
it.
that, But yeah, I agree with you,
It
Chad.
makes sense. I like all of those. I think because of how many challenges we've seen, I would like teams to maybe lose more than just their timeout. Because basically a challenge, it's a timeout. You know what I'm saying? You get like 2 minutes to talk to your team while they do that, at least, unless it's a CCHA and it's 7 minutes. But you're basically getting a timeout. I think you should be penalized right away.
Well, I think it goes hand in hand with the tablet. If you're going to get a tablet on the bench, and then you challenge and you're wrong, you should. It should follow the NHL. You get a penalty. If they don't do the tablet thing, I'm fine because they're kind of at the mercy of their ops guy who's watching Northern Michigan's feed and really has no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up the question of like, does it like a school like Northern Michigan or maybe a Lake State or something like that? Do they have the technology in their building to support that down to the bench? What is that? How is that going to get implicated? I mean, yeah, I'm sure you can have an iPad with Midco on it, but does it need to be like, do you need to have like Strand can go through and click, okay, I want to see this angle, and this angle in a span of 10 seconds before the refs are you challenging or not?
Do we give them the review that they have in that the refs can see? Or do we give them the feed? Because like the feed sometimes doesn't even show reviews.
Yeah,
sure.
No, absolutely. So yeah, well, I mean, we'll see it. We'll hopefully talk to coach after these coaches meetings and get some more clarity.
Those this weekend?
I think they've been kind of ongoing for the past week. I think they're wrapping up here now, but
I haven't seen the coach's photo yet.
Yeah, they're all fighting.
For hockey.
They all went smile on the same picture together because they all hate each other now. This was interesting, Chad. Minnesota's still looking for non-con games. 4 games in total, 2 weekends, October 30th and 31st, and November 27th and 28th. Yeah, hello. Well, and I guess Juts, you brought it up. Murr could possibly be under that rule.
I think Murr would be under that rule because I think he aged out of juniors.
So who knows if that goes through, if he's even eligible. And we're just spitting off the top of our head. Who knows if that's true or not. But
I only know about 2 to 3 on our team for sure.
Yeah,
just off the top of my head.
Mercyhurst drops men's hockey. That was a pretty kind of out of the blue blow. I mean, Chad, I don't know if you got anything on that. I mean, sucks to see a program go, I guess, but it sounded like they did it pretty shittily too. I saw some stories, but I mean, that's a word now too.
Shittily.
Yeah,
you don't want to see college hockey programs collapse or fold by any means. I mean, at the same time, I don't
Mercyhurst.
lose sleep over Mercyhurst.
It's shitty the way, if it's like what they say happened, that's so bad. Where like the athletic director came in and was like, hey, coach, you have 15 minutes to tell your team. We don't have a program after today.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure, didn't they make like some promise 2 years ago that like we're going to make athletics better, and then they're doing this crap? Like,
Well, like 2 days prior to them announcing this, there was like a fundraising video put out for the hockey team.
oh yeah,
Like
they didn't tell
they were
anybody.
making fundraising videos for the hockey. Like there's like their annual Mav week or whatever that we have here. It was that, and they were
So
advocating
guys, if
for
this,
people.
we're not going to tell you, but if this goes poorly, we are closing the doors.
Yeah,
Unless someone gives
sell.
us $1 million, we're closing the door.
Yeah. So who knows? Weird stuff. And then we're kind of on our news segment here, so just wanted to throw this in here. We are kind of changing the way we publish a little bit, so it shouldn't change anything on the listener's end on, any of the platforms. But if you guys have issues finding things or if stuff's not showing up, let us know. Everything's already been switched over, and it looked like it all saved properly. It's all still there. So, but let us know if you have any issues finding the show or something looks funky or whatever. We're just changing things up behind the scenes a little bit. So I can explain that to you off air, Jots. It doesn't really impact anything. But so I guess, guys, we didn't really do a season recap, and I think a good way to maybe kick this off before we can all kind of spew our thoughts on it. Team awards came out today.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty, nothing too shocking here, I guess. But hardest worker / unsung hero, Campbell Psychos. Leadership award, Mason Wheeler. Most improved player, Jordan Ron. And then the Maverick 3-star award and MVP is Alex Tracy. Little tidbit in here on Tracy too, just for a career. He finished second in Mankato history in games played by a goaltender at 115. Second in shutouts at 13 and save percentage at 927. He finished third in minutes played, 6,828, and wins, 66. And then he finished fifth in saves at 2,690. And then I'm losing my thing here because it's on a new page. There we go. And goals against average was also he finished fifth in at 1.88. But yeah, man, I guess, Chad, well, I mean, I'll throw it to you. I mean, we don't have to get super wax poetic or anything about it, but I mean, just kind of overall thoughts on this season. I mean, I put this team on DEFCON 3 at one point. Turns out Strand gets coach of the year and a Penrose finalist, and we win both cups. I mean, what was your kind of thoughts on the year overall, kind of 30,000 foot view?
Yeah, I mean, it was I think like we said after the regional, I mean, it was a roller coaster of a season. I really we never felt like they were out. We were nervous, but they were never mathematically out of it. And as long as you're not mathematically out of it, we just proved that you're in it. Yeah. We won going into the last game in 5th place and came out with a cardboard cutout of the cup. That's how crazy it was. The season was super fun. The trips we had were super fun. St. Thomas and Wisconsin, and just the experience overall was awesome. The future is very bright. And then just the last thing on the awards, I mean, everything's kind of went in as expected. Very happy on Jordan Ron getting most improved. I really liked what I saw from him, especially towards the end of the season. Excited to see what he can do, and Tracy's right up there in history with Drido. I mean, didn't quite get the Hobie or that, or the shutout record, but I mean, he's right there, one and 1A in my book as far as legendary status.
Yeah. And before I throw it to you, Juts, I mean, just a final MPI standings around the league. Mankato finishes at 13 after beating St. Thomas. Augustana at 15. Obviously, there's a lot of drama with them getting in or not getting into the tournament. St. Thomas at 16. Tech at 20. Bowling Green at 24. And then you really got to scroll all the way down to find the rest of the conference. Bemidji at 50. Lake State at 53. Ferris at 56. And Northern at 60. So pretty interesting year in the CCHA, the way it all kind of shaped up. You get 5 teams in the top 25 of college hockey, and then you get 4 teams in the bottom 10. So it was an interesting year for sure, and in college hockey. But Juts, I'll throw it to you. I mean, thoughts on the year as a whole. I mean, a lot.
Yeah,
it's a broad question, but
no, like Big Bag said, I think the best part of this year was just like the people we met, the places we got to go. Like the fan bus to Wisconsin was something I'll probably never forget. except for some of that one day. But I think out of the three of us, I probably gave up the most. Just throughout the year, I was just like, I'll be lucky to get not gave up, but I was just like, I'll be lucky if we get home ice at this point. I don't know if that was just like more realistic, because I was just like, there's just no chance that we're gonna win the Mason and the McNaughton, or not the McMason. Like, I knew we were gonna win the Mason.
The McMason.
But
That's what we should call it.
Yeah, honestly, they should. We'd win
Yeah.
both every year.
The McNaughton, I was like, there's just no chance. Like, these two are delusional. They weren't delusional. I was delusional.
Guilty.
But yeah, what a year. The seniors were awesome. There's not enough flowers I can give to those, and even Murr, because technically he graduated as a Maverick. So that
We'll get to that.
just so everyone knows, Murr did graduate a Maverick. So in my book, he's a Maverick and a grad transfer. You could transfer
Dead to me.
Kind
of.
No. But yeah, the awards are kind of like Big Meg said, like I expected. I kind of expected like most improved to be like someone that was a freshman last year and a sophomore this year, just like the jump between years. But Ron just had such a jump between like his first couple games he played till the end of the year. Like, I remember saying like at one part, like, who's Ron? And at the end of the year, I was like, yeah, that guy's cool.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Didn't someone have like a Weasley sign or something? I was like, why the heck is there like a Ron Weasley sign? And they're like, dude, Jordan Ron. I go, oh, yeah. So, that was
That checks out.
that was pretty cool to see him, and hopefully with these new people coming in, Jordan and LaBelle and Mork still get a pretty good chance to grow even more this year. So
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
So that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess pretty good. So I don't know, Chad, did you have anything more on that? We got another. I was going to get into
I want to hear what you have to
signings
say
here.
about the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Jut said, I think I and Chad, we need to like somehow, I think you said it a couple times, like go back and how many times did we say we're not giving up on this team until it's mathematically out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like Jut said, non-biased, realistically, just looking at where things stood, end of January going into February, just it seemed so unlikely, and for St. Thomas to drop off the way they did, for Tech to struggle down the stretch the way they did, and for Strand and company to just hit cruise control and go to finish off the season was just it was unbelievable. And to see a year where maybe Tracy's stats weren't as eye-popping as they were last year, for him to stay in those games where he did give up 4 goals, which we didn't see all last year, for him to stay in those games and give the team a chance to come back in those games, like that Bowling Green game where they go down, whatever it was, 3-1, 4-1 in the first period.
Yeah.
And you come thundering back. And I mean, just games like that to me stand out so much because, I mean, literally every point came down. It came down to every single point at the end of the year. And you look back at wins like that. You look back at even like coming back and at least getting that Augustana game in Sioux Falls, getting that to overtime. You look back at, even like games that you maybe shouldn't have lost. You look back at stuff like that and like giving us a chance at the end of the game. They get an empty net, just tight ones like that. You look back and you're like, it literally took every guy, every ounce of effort, no matter what the situation was, night in, night out. And, I'm going to miss the seniors a ton. It was a pretty cool class. It was obviously a class that, last kind of era of hasty era recruits and guys that have been here for 4 years, and bummed to see him go. But I think that translates well into this next segment where pro signings. Ralph Sprigmanis signs with the Wheeling Nailers of the ECHL. Mason Wheeler signs with the Bloomington Bison of the ECHL. Tracy signs with the Tahoe Night Monsters in the ECHL. That's technically a two-way deal, right?
He signed with the Henderson Knights.
Yep. Okay.
And then, he got sent down immediately. Unlike that Tommy Burner said, your goalie did the exact same thing. So he got signed. We just announced it as an E deal, but it's really a two-way.
Yep. So next year he's expected to start up there. So is my understanding, at least for camp. So had a 43 save shutout in his first game, 3-0 win. So not too shabby of a start. And then Soupy
really
signs with the Toledo Walleye. I believe he's got a couple of points and a goal already. So I don't know, Chad, you got anything? I'm just assuming congrats, but I mean, shout out those guys for moving along the hockey ladder here.
Yeah, I mean, nothing on that specifically, but I think losing, like, the seniors leaving and everything, if I had to pick one thing I really don't like about doing this podcast is actually getting to know these guys, and then on that kind of level, and like seeing them around and actually having conversations with them, and then they leave. Like before, it was just like, oh, that sucks. He was one of my favorite players. Hate to see him go. But now, like, when we actually get to talk to him and get to know him, it just makes it that much harder. So, so yeah, definitely gonna miss them. Hopefully they come back around and hang out at the rink when they can, and see him out and about.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said this before, but I mean, I lived next to those two, like that senior class that stayed here for all 4 years. I was next door neighbors with them for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we were pretty good friends. So
it's a miracle they stayed for 4 years.
Yeah. Surprised it is. God, this fat dude just keeps throwing stuff at me.
You're the reason they transfer out.
So why'd you leave? Just
Juts. Oh, yeah, Juts. Yep.
No, but it's so cool to see him go on to bigger and better things. And now, like, it's cool now I have an excuse to go, like, oh, hey, Jackson's playing, but, like, really, like, Psychos is on the other team. Maybe I'll go down this weekend.
Yeah.
And now we can follow them, and I have reasons to, like, watch ECHL, which I didn't realize how nails of a league that is. It might be the best hockey I've ever watched. It's so fun to watch. So,
got it.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah. What makes it? What's the analytical takeaway here from what makes it so fun?
All right. Fast. It's like, these kids are
Pucks
like
and deep.
trying to. Yeah, like Lucas. Do you see what he said in that video I posted?
Pucks and deep.
Yeah, Lucas on like his post, like second period thing is like, we gotta stay out of the box and pucks in deep, and he's like, what else? He goes, just getting pucks deep. I'm like, Lucas, sounds like me on Chad and Mavs. But no, it's these kids are fighting to move up, so they leave everything on the line every game. Not that like the NHL doesn't, but then some of these kids are like right out of college. Some of these kids have been crawling through the league for like 10 years. So it's just sick to see, and like a lot of fights. Yeah,
a lot of fights.
That's the biggest thing. A lot of fights. And like
that's why you like it.
Yeah. The Kansas City Mavericks arena is also like probably top 3 atmospheres I've ever watched college hockey in. Or not college hockey, like hockey in, period.
Mm-hmm.
You're right on top of them, even if you're in the top, because like the stadium's built up, not out.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's not a bad seat, and they have just a weird, like they do full on cowbell. And I think if you do cowbell right, there's nothing better than that. So
is it a dedicated arena for that team, or is it shared with a basketball team? Or
no, dedicated for them. It says like on the thing, it's like home of the Kansas City Mavericks. Wow. And I'm pretty sure they get a practice there and everything. They have it really nice where the Hunt family owns their team, if you know who that is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like the Hunt family owns the Chiefs and the Royals as well.
Mm.
So because like a lot of East Coast League teams.
So this is couch change for them.
Yeah. So not a lot of ECHL teams are as well like funded and as well put together as Jackson's. Like they're put up in like super nice like apartments, like I was saying, and the fans, they sell out the building every time. I like I'll watch away games and there's maybe 30 people in the stands.
That's sweet. There you go. Okay, we got our answer.
Analytical jobs.
Well, we were bringing up the portal and we've put it off long enough here. We just got to rip the Band-Aid off here. Portal season opened up. Mavericks lose Evan Murr to the Gophers. Beckford and Lurie also head into the portal as departures.
And Bonk.
and Bonk. So
And
disappointing, especially with Murr. I just once we didn't see him sign a pro deal, I think it was kind of, I don't want to say it was written on the wall, but
Yeah.
I mean, you have to expect, that his agent was probably in his ear, saying that you need to get to NCHC or the Big Ten. And I don't think that he was going to go to St. Thomas and being a Stillwater kid. I think there was really probably only one possibility that was realistic, and that was the University of Minnesota. So that's where he went. I mean, not that it matters to anyone other than us, I guess, but he did send us a little note, a day before saying that, hey, just wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to be in the portal in the morning, and just how much Mankato and the community meant to him and his family. And I think if it worked out career-wise, I think every part of him wanted to stay here. I think just not getting the NHL deal he wanted, and I think his agent, if you want to play in the NHL in a year or two, you're going to have to go get exposure against quote unquote better schools in a better conference, unfortunately, is what it is. And like when we broke down the CCHA, we got half the leagues in the top 25 and the other half's in the bottom 10. And this is a great reason why that really, really sucks. I don't know, Chad, I mean, what are your takeaways? That was a bummer, no matter how much heads up we had.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real kick in the dick to have your best player and one of the nicest guys on the team leave. And I mean, obviously we know what Mankato means to him, so it's not like he had a bad experience here, but if he has to go from 1 or 2 scouts at a game to 8 or 9, then I guess that's what he needs to do to pursue his dreams. When we were in Wisconsin, what did we see, like 4 scouts, and they were all saying we're here to watch Murr and Tracy.
Yeah.
If he's going to get that every single weekend, new scouts and returning scouts there to watch him play more games, I don't understand why they can't watch him play in Mankato or watch film, or I mean, have his agent do his job and get him attention. I don't know how that stuff works. So if that's what he needed to do, then good luck. He's up there as one of the greats. He was fantastic. Loved watching him play.
Yeah. I mean,
it would have been cool to see the numbers he would have put up this year. I mean, they would have been like just as a career would have really capped it off so nicely. And I mean,
I think if he stayed, he'd go down as the greatest defenseman in.
Probably, yeah. I no doubt. And huge bummer, man. I think for the other guys that left, it's probably best for both ends of the deal there. Hopefully, I know Beckford's
at Merrimack. Yesterday, Merrimack. We play in Merrimack this year or next year.
Yeah, so Beckford found a home.
We could see 2 goalies we played against. Like we could see Pulver this year, and then
no, Pulver's not at Wisco.
Well, no, Pulver like this year, and like we could have seen him earlier in the season. Like we opened the season against Pulver. That's what I'm saying, and I think we opened the season against Beckford next year.
But we didn't open the season against Pulver.
Was that not our first weekend?
Pulver didn't play either of those games.
Oh yeah, duh.
Jesus Christ.
But we were still
I think that's a great. I have this written down though because I was getting these show notes together throughout the portal, and I kind of wrote down as a joke. Pulver family's probably in shambles because Wisconsin signed another goaltender, and then a couple days later, turns out Eli Pulver ends up in the portal. I think Chad, you had a pretty funny tweet. Just world's worst agent. That was pretty funny. A couple other portal notes here before we get to the additions. Owen Murray and a couple other guys that are like
so cool.
Playing like current
awesome.
players or former guys that are graduating. They're just breaking transfers on Twitter. That was hilarious. Thought it was notable. Both Lake State and Ferris State both land a couple of draft picks, which I don't think we've seen from either of those 2 schools in a while. I know Ferris State got a 6th round and a 7th round pick. Juts, you can do your 6-7 thing. Lake State got 2 7th-rounders. So, and we'll obviously talk about what the Mavericks are adding here in a second. But I don't know. I mean, before we get to the Mavericks portal additions here, Chad, I mean, do you have kind of anything on just the portal as a whole? I kind of like the madness of it this year. It's kind of fun.
It's fun.
I mean,
Yeah.
once the Band-Aid was ripped off from Murr, it's like, all right, let's see what we can do here. But
Yeah. I got to close out of this window. When Jets was talking, I was Googling stroke symptoms just to make sure we could stay on top of them. The only problem is I don't think he could do most of the stuff anyway. Like slurred speech, lift both arms. Like it's see,
sorry,
it's
we're
a
losing
little
them.
iffy, but yeah, no, that was definitely wild. It made it really fun to follow, and like you said, the UMass guys, I forget who they were talking about, but they were talking about one guy going to one school, and he's like, I don't think so. He's sitting right next to me on the couch.
It was about Mankato, wasn't it?
It was the CCHA dude.
Yeah, but I don't know who the guy was.
And he goes, that's funny. He's on my couch, and Minnesota State hasn't talked to him.
Yeah, he hasn't said a word about it. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite
funny.
one is like the next quote. He goes, because some people are like source, and he goes, my source, Jack himself.
Yeah. Yeah, needless to say, I didn't get any work done. Sorry, U.S. Bank, but I didn't get any work done during those 2 weeks.
We were so excited for us to have 2 weeks of madness, and then we did 95% of our adding on the first day, and we were both like, we're all in our group chat like, well, this is boring when you do everything on the first day. You're like, we don't, like, we thought we were done, and then we heard news about the other guy, but we're like, oh, this is boring. We got everyone we needed and slash kind of wanted on the first day.
It was awesome.
Yeah. It was fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Obviously, losing Murr, we kind of had a heads up, so it wasn't as bad as maybe last year was with Isley and a couple of the other guys leaving.
I had a heads up on Isley.
The additions though, Maverick staff knocks it out of the park once again. I'll just kind of run through them here, and then we can toss it around like we usually do here. Starting off with Sam Court, he's a D-man transfer from Arizona State. He's a Winnipeg, Manitoba native. He played 67 games. Let's go for it. At ASU. 17 career points, 45 blocks last year. He's got 2 years of eligibility remaining. I don't know where that stands with the new rule, so we'll have to see there. But he played one season in the USHL with Sioux City. The next one I have on here, I got to go to my next page. Damian Gardner. He is a transfer from St. Cloud. So one of the St. Cloud table scraps, as Chad was saying, raiding the cupboards there. 4th round, 6'4", 4th round pick to Vancouver in 2022. He played 61 games in the last 2 seasons, 7 goals, 11 assists. He also played a season at Clarkson. He had 5 assists in 6 games there. Played for Omaha and Tri-City in the USHL. And then little family connection here. His sisters Demi and Mariah played for the Mavericks women's team, but about 10 years ago, give or take which one you're talking about there. So that was pretty cool. Will Sakan, is that how you say it? Skahan. Thank you for my pronunciation struggles as usual. 6'5", 223 for poundage. D-man transfer from Boston College. This is the guy that's been referred to as some thickness on the back end by our very own big dog, Mitch Vosberg of the Mankato Free Press. Love the wording on that one. I couldn't agree more. Woodbury, Minnesota native, so hometown guy coming back here. 2nd round, 65th overall pick to Utah in the 2024 NHL draft. He spent 2 years, 68 games in the USHL on the National Development Program team. He played 61 games for Boston College in 2 years, 3 goals, 5 assists, 27 blocks. Colby Cohen on X, he kind of retweeted things, and he goes, I think this player has massive potential with more opportunity and great coaching, which he will get from Luke Strand. His ceiling is high. So I saw a bunch of other praise on Twitter when that was announced as well. And then the last one here, Lassie Letty, goaltender, 6'4", 209-pound grad transfer from Alaska. This is one of those that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out with this current rule change, but nonetheless, very excited about Lassie coming in here. He's an Espoo, Finland native. He played for El Paso and Minot in the NAHL. Started in 25 of his 26 games he played in last year for Alaska. He played 1,492 minutes and had a .919 save percentage and a .251 goals against. So he, according to CHN, he was the top-ranked goaltender in the transfer portal. I'll throw it right over to you, Chad. I mean, another masterclass by the Mavericks staff here in the portal era of college hockey, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I was absolutely thrilled with who they got. I mean, Gardner and Skahan were on my wish list of guys I wanted them to get. The thing I'll say about those two is I've always, I mean, Gardner was at War Road. Granted, they were only at these schools for 1 year, but he was at War Road. He had something like 85, 83 points in 1 year at War Road. Skahan, he was at St. Thomas, like two schools I'd really love to see the Mavericks get guys from, and they got them out of the portal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see them recruit more from those schools, but getting them out of the portal, super fun. Skahan, Eastview, the 1 year he was at St. Thomas, Eastview played him a couple times. I think they beat him in the section tournament, but he was just an absolute stud. I could not be happier to have these guys on the team. Sam Court, I didn't really know a whole lot about, but that one highlight of his slap shot, holy smokes. And then
lots of praise about him too on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Letty, I don't know squat about Letty. Excited to have him on the team. Like, I've been hearing like he's a future NHLer. I've been hearing that from multiple people.
And you got the size.
I mean, no reason not to believe that, but like his path, I look at his path to where he's at now, and I'm just like, doesn't scream NHL to me. But you know, I'm not gonna.
No offense to.
Get some Edquist dust on him, and he'll be signing deals next year.
No offense to Tracy and Drido, but I mean they're insane goaltenders. But everyone knows they had one major flaw.
Sure.
Yeah. So if you're 6'4" and can move, and are playing any level D1, you have a really good chance of making it to it for sure the A, and most likely making your at least debut and sticking around the NHL.
I guess I'll being the goaltending guy on the pod, I got some film over. I kind of picked out some cool clips and I posted them on our social media. But two very different goaltenders coming in next year. With the freshman coming in and then our transfer. Letty's he's obviously big. He plays deeper in his net. More of a blocking goaltender, doesn't get out of position very often, really kind of uses his size to his advantage, plays deep, and more of a blocking style goaltender, for what that's worth. And you can kind of see it in the two highlights that I posted. Why am I blanking on our freshman goalie's name? I just had it.
Raiden Legal.
Legal. Legal coming in, if you watch his highlights that I posted, he's making, he almost looks more of like a Tracy and a Dryden, where he's making really athletic saves, using his footwork, using his hand-eye coordination, and that's just how smaller goaltenders have to play. So it makes a ton of sense. It'll be really cool to see kind of two styles in net. Hopefully, for Letty's sake, when he's probably looking to sign a pro deal next year. So hopefully he can really get some good minutes under his feet and kind of bring in a freshman goaltender, and they can both get some time. From what I'm hearing, it sounds like it's going to be kind of a 1A, 1B. Yep. Letty probably being the 1A, but I mean, who knows, right? We'll see how that works out after camp. So, I know, I'm pumped, man. It'd be cool.
I know Severson's 6'4" as well, but as far as like, if Letty's going to start, is he the tallest goalie we've ever had?
Probably.
I can't think of a tall. Like Connor Lecouvier was tall, but I just looked him up. He was only 6'1". I can't think of a taller
Yeah,
goalie, so
There was
it'll
a
be
goalie.
he must be.
unprecedented.
There was a goalie. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's just because I was like 8 years old and I thought he was massive, but I thought there was like a 6'5" goalie around like 08, 09.
Yeah.
I could be
Well,
completely wrong, and he's like 5'4", but like
whoever the team orders pads through, they're, when they see the order from Mankato State, it's going to be, the order of pads for a 6'4" goaltender, and they're gonna have to like verify with Scooter
sure?
when they're ordering gear.
You
This
guys were
correct?
couldn't
I
tell
don't
us.
know we've never sent leg pads this big down to Mankato's. So we'll have to see. But no, that'll be exciting to just have some size in that, because apparently that's that seems to be really important to people, no matter how talented the goaltender is.
Oh,
If you're
right.
under 6 foot, people
Austin
seem to
Lee.
shake their. Austin Lee.
Is that who you're talking about, Juts? Yeah, he was
Yeah.
6'3", according to the
Okay.
website,
Wow.
which means he was probably 6'1".
Yeah.
Right. 6'3" on skates. But yeah, I don't have much more guys on the portal. I mean, they knocked it out of the park, and I feel like we're kind of getting through stuff here
Yeah,
quickly, but
that
I
was
feel like we're
awesome.
getting most of everything covered. I don't know, Chad, do you have anything more to add?
What's up, buddy? What's up, buddy?
I don't really like. They
Okay.
couldn't be happier with what they got. It would have been fun if this was the year where we had to get like 8 to 10 guys and just had a party
Yeah, like ASU.
trying to just bring in. Yeah, but only needing to get 4, I guess, is a good problem to have. It's nice to have some stability in this program.
Yeah.
Only needing to get a couple guys versus we need to fill out the rest of our roster.
Right. Absolutely. Juts, anything more on the portal?
Nope.
Got it.
Hold on. Yeah, actually.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Loading.
I think my ADHD brain had to. Hey, get on, buddy. Yeah, I think Court is gonna be. Everyone was super excited about Sarhan. What is it?
Not got to work here anymore.
Oh, Sarhan or whatever.
Scan.
Skiing. And I think
Skiing.
Court's skiing. I think Court's gonna be better, just based not like just what I saw, like that one clip of the Slapshot you guys were talking about. And just what I've been hearing about
Based off one clip.
No. And then everything I've been hearing about him, that we're gonna unlock his potential and stuff like that, like everything that was being sent in the group chat. I'm excited about him. I was nervous about the back end, but now we're pretty thick back there, so I don't really worry about defense. I think we did exactly what we needed to do to replace the guys we lost. And it's gonna be really weird watching a goalie that I don't tower over for once.
It's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
With that, guys, I think it's a good time to get into Pipeline with Poburka. We're going to be joined by Jon Poburka on the show, and he's going to run through the pipeline leading into Mankato, the recruits, and I'm sure we'll probably briefly touch on what we just kind of talked about, and maybe a couple other topics as well. But we'll throw it over to our interview with Jon Poburka right now. All right, joining the show. I think this is your 3rd time on, Jon. Is that right?
I believe so. Yeah, 3 times now.
So I think that's the highest recurring guest in Chattin Mavericks history. So
he must be pretty desperate this time of year.
Yeah, scraping the barrel for content. I mean, this transfer portal, we can get into it. That was no lack of content from there. We earlier in the show, we kind of just got through some of the portal additions and just a little recap, stuff like that. But I guess, what are your thoughts on, maybe working backwards here? Maverick coaching staff knocks it out of the park once again with the portal. What are your thoughts on who we're bringing in here?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think I saw NXT today ranked maybe their top 20 teams, and I think we came in at number 8, and I thought, that was good along some big schools and big names, and there we were again. So yeah, I mean, definitely overall happy. Obviously losing Evan Murr is kind of a shot, but I think when you look at just in terms of the net positive, some of these guys that we added, I think have got a ton of potential. have you guys talked, I suppose, a little bit about, some of the names here? I'll maybe run down the list.
Yeah,
I mean, the one that,
I kind of briefly, we briefly named them and then, went over them a little bit. But yeah, whatever you got on them, man, list it off because,
yeah. Well,
we
I'll
shoot from the
start
hip
with
here. So.
maybe kind of the big splash, I guess. Will Scahan
Yeah.
out of Boston College. You look at a second round draft pick, obviously a ton of potential there. He's kind of got a pedigree that we probably haven't seen here in some time. Having come from the National Development Program.
Yeah, is he the first player that we've had from the National
You know,
Development Program?
we've had a couple others, but that played
Okay.
kind of more minor roles, I believe.
Got it.
Josh Grohl, I spent just a very small amount of time there,
That's right.
and then I want to say some deeper cuts way back when Cole Bassett was the first player ever to play a little bit there,
Okay.
and then I want to say Zach
Sweet.
Stepan might have
Yeah.
played a little bit there as well. So, but not on the full time role like Will has played, in the U18s, and then moving on up. But yeah, he's obviously got a huge frame. Just size and strength. He's kind of a menace physically. He's kind of had a interesting road. He's spent a lot of time. I should say he's traveled quite a bit in his hockey career. His dad is actually a really high level strength and conditioning coach, and so he grew up around the Anaheim Ducks organization. Played for the junior Anaheim Ducks, and then actually his dad was a strength and conditioning coach for the Wild in his most recent role. And I want to say his dad runs a strength and conditioning program out of Minnesota here. But so he'll be kind of probably getting a little closer home to family. But obviously, from a physical standpoint, he's got just tremendous upside. I think he kind of projects as a shutdown defenseman. He has not really scratched his the surface offensively yet, to be quite frank with you. But I think that's going to be something that he'll add in time. But just a huge plus for MSU to land a guy like that. I think it says a lot with his advisors, obviously, and his agent, and that this is a place that they think he's best served to develop. He's going to get a ton of minutes here, and really looking forward to seeing what he can do with us. And I think he's just a player that needs to get some confidence back. Obviously 2 years in BC. I think he had maybe a little bit of a sophomore slump, but as we've seen so many times with players that change environments, I just think the sky's the limit for him, and I think once he gains some confidence, he's going to really shine for us.
Awesome,
John.
Yeah.
Question on Scahan. Given, like you mentioned, his pedigree and everything, let's say he has a monster year here. Are we at risk of losing him to Utah after this season, or do you think he sticks around?
Best case scenario would be that. I mean, I think Luke and the coaching staff has made it clear that they want to propel these guys to the next level, and if he does go, I think that'd be a best case scenario, to be honest with you. And if we can continue to attract players like that and help them reach their ultimate goals, that's going to give us more credence with NHL staff.
You're kind of thinking like future down the line, like that, a player that's in his role that's maybe needs a new start, but he has a really high end. You're kind of thinking,
yeah,
like this
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's a good way to look at it.
I mean, I don't think it's any secret that, this is a program that wants to advance players to the next level. And, if they can do that in short order with Will, I think that just bodes well. And I wouldn't see that as a negative at all.
That's a super interesting spin for a fan base that is so used to being butthurt by everybody who leaves. That's an interesting way to put it, and I'm on board with it. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll get into another defenseman that we picked up, Sam Court. A very intriguing player, I think. This is a player that has a lot more, I think, offensive upside. And, as you lose a guy like Murr, I could see Sam certainly stepping into a top power play kind of role with the team. He's got an absolute bomb of a shot, from what I've heard anyway. You look at his history through junior, he scored 72 points in the AJHL as a defenseman for Brooks. And then he played in Sioux City. Obviously, probably a Maverick proving ground there in Sioux City, but he had 35 points in the USHL. So I think the scoring pedigree is there with him, and I think when he gets a little bit more opportunity, probably, like I said, I could see him slotting in on our first unit. I think we're going to need his offensive production from the back end.
Yeah, it's kind of, maybe a little bit better of a replacement for Murr. You're thinking just a little bit of.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're obviously going to lose a lot of offense
Yeah.
with Murr. I mean, Murr was, in a lot of ways, kind of our best, in some ways, our best offensive player. I mean, he was just the catalyst on the power play, and he's going to be tough to replace. But I think that's probably what they were looking for with Sam, and probably promised him, some playing time on the power play units.
Well, and quickly, we were talking about this a little bit in the episode, but this new rule that kind of came out today, that it's been ruled that they're going to go forward with talks with the whole 5-and-5 thing or whatever. There's a couple of players that potentially that could impact that are, coming in and transfer already here. Even I think Murr maybe might be in that window as well. What do you know
Yeah.
about that? I mean, if
I've kind of read the article, and obviously, I think the NCAA, I think, is going to move pretty quickly to put that in play, from what I've heard.
Oh, okay.
But to be honest, I don't know how that would impact, the players on our team right now. But I think it kind of spiraled out of control after the COVID year, and I think they're trying to kind of put a cap on
Yeah.
some of that. I doubt it would have any immediate implications, but probably in the following year,
Okay.
it might have some implications.
Okay, so maybe not as a concern, going into off season and into next season, but as it
That's
goes on.
that's maybe my understanding. I doubt they could push it through and actually have that go into effect where they're kind of affecting the players that have already committed. I would imagine that would take
Got it.
effect in the next calendar year, but I don't know that for a fact.
Okay.
But let's
Okay,
hope so, because we got Lassie Letty, who's going to be 25
Yeah.
in November. So
And then I think it would affect Spinner
Exactly.
too.
yeah. Well, let's just stop and appreciate the name real quick. Lassie Letty.
I'll be getting a jersey.
Oh yeah. Oh, Lassie. Yeah, I mean, I can just talk a little bit about that one. I think that's just an enormous get for us, for stability on the back end.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have two really good goaltenders, with
Yes.
him and then Raiden Legal. I think we're going to have options back there, and I really feel like Lassie. I mean, he was the best goaltender in the portal. I don't think there was really any question about that. Like I said, experience. He's like a really long and winding road to get here. He's played in about every league, including Europe. Played in the Null. Obviously landed there in Fairbanks. They didn't have the greatest team, but he made them a formidable team. They upset a lot of teams this year. They probably shouldn't have, based on his play.
Yeah.
But you're talking about 6'4". We're going to have a little more size than we're probably used to seeing with Alex and Dryden. So
Yeah.
he's got a big frame. Hobie Baker nominee, and I just think, in terms of trying to kind of be stable, I mean, he's just an enormous get. And then I'll talk a little bit about Raiden Legal.
Yeah.
Everett Silvertips. I mean, this guy has a 43-6 record as a starter in the WHL.
It's not
So,
bad.
I mean, Everett is a powerhouse. But yeah, 43-6. He was 27-4 this year. All he does is win. Super great kid. He's won some humanitarian awards for some of his work with mental health and whatnot. I just feel like from a community aspect that might have attracted him here. Sounds like an awesome kid. You could probably look for him to be a little bit more athletic, maybe more of like the lines of a Tracy, where he's kind of acrobatic and he can make some really amazing saves. I've seen his lateral movement. He's quick. And then we'll have probably the little bigger, more traditional goalie in Lassie. So we'll have options, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a blocking goaltender. I was talking about it a little bit before he hopped on. I don't think we've had a blocking goaltender in Mankato in a while. Where Dryden would play kind of a blocking goaltender, even with his small size.
Yeah.
You didn't see him making a ton of acrobatic saves. Where Tracy definitely was more acrobatic. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. One game, one's playing, the next game you get a completely different style. So maybe that's something where coaches can kind of implement, like, hey, this we think this goaltender is going to deploy
Mhm.
better against this style of team, and
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
So
And I mean, we
that'd be
also haven't
cool.
seen a rotation in a really long time.
Yeah.
You go from Dryden to Trace, and,
Well,
um,
that's
rotations can work at times too. So let's hope, maybe we can get into something like that.
Yeah. You fellas
Um,
got anything here for John?
Yeah, I got a question on Lassie Letty.
yeah.
We were talking about this before you jumped on. I'm not naming names, but what would you say to guys who look at his elite prospects page and kind of wonder what all the fuss is about, considering like he really hasn't owned a net in 4 years, and kind of his path through the null and playing. I mean, people are talking about this guy like he's going to be, as if he's going to be in the NHL. They're saying he's NHL caliber goalie, but looking at his elite prospects page, it doesn't look like the traditional pathway for a certified NHL goalie.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his record too, I don't think he's played for the greatest teams in the world, and
Exactly.
we've seen that before, where goaltenders like to see rubber sometimes, and if you can kind of get kicked under the carpet a little bit. I think if you're not on a really good team, maybe you don't have splashy numbers early, although he's really corrected that since. But yeah, we've seen it before where these goalies, it's a weird position that way, where they can kind of come out of different leagues, and really find their way. But if you look at his play over the last 2 years, and I know he split some time 2 years ago, but he owned the crease for the most part this year, and he's a Hobie Baker nominee. He was generating NHL interest. I think at the age of 25, let's say that ship might have sailed a little bit. He's older than Jesper Wallstedt, for God's sakes. But, I mean, it's, but as far as him continuing his career, yeah, he could step in and start in the ECHL right now, in my opinion. And I think he's kind of using this as one more way to maybe elevate his status, where he might be able to step into an AHL crease at some point down the line.
Yeah, Jets is our resident ECHL correspondent now. So
I saw some activity. He was down in Kansas City watching some of our good old boys, huh?
Yeah. I was watching my cousin, and just so happened that those two are on the team.
And Tracy, you got a Tracy and Souter game. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, Tracy played Friday, and then luckily he wasn't playing when Souter got both goals Saturday.
Oh, okay.
That's what we were talking about. Like, does the team, because the team posted the Souter highlights, I'm like, I wonder if Tracy's in net, if they'd even post them.
Well, they posted the one on Friday night. Or no, they didn't post the Friday night one. They posted his both goals Saturday. They did not post his goal Friday, and that's Tracy was in net.
Yeah.
That'd be tough in the handshake line, I think.
Yeah. I was talking to him. He goes, yeah, I keep meaning to talk to Tracy, but I'm also scared because I pumped 3 in.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I've got one more name here, Damon Gardner, as the fourth ad out of the portal. Another guy with, I think, a ton of upside. A fourth rounder from Vancouver. I'm sorry, Vancouver drafted him in the fourth round. But size and skill. I mean, 6'4", over 200 pounds. I mean, this is kind of becoming a theme. I think the coaches are really identifying players that have the size and can play that downhill brand of hockey. And as far as Damon goes, I mean, he's from Winnipeg area, I should say, Eagle Lake. I think he's on the First Nation Ojibwe, but he played at Warroad, actually, his senior year, after playing in the Winnipeg area. Had an awesome year at Warroad, and that's where he got drafted after that year. But from there, he went and point per game guy at Tri-City. Got injured in his first year at Clarkson, then he transferred back to St. Cloud to kind of get a little closer to home. And, I think that first year at St. Cloud, he played really well coming off injury. I think, it's another player that might have taken a little step back last year, but I mean, I think with our coaching staff, once they can get their hands on him, he's just the kind of player that I think they like. Possession player, attacks the front of the net really well. So, I mean, I'm really excited to him. His sister's played at MSU too, it sounds like, so he might be kind of familiar with the
That's what we were saying. That's kind of cool. I think when we were talking, it looked about 10 years ago, so kind of a cool, I'm sure his family's pumped to be back at games.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, top to bottom, really happy with the ads. I think it's just checking the boxes in terms of potential. And I think the coaching staff's going to have a heyday with some of these players. And, some of them do need to improve in certain areas, but as long as they're willing to put in the work, and we've seen it time and again with some of these players that we've gotten that I'll say maybe is a downward mobility kind of thing, but they need to step into bigger roles. And we've seen countless players excel once given the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best ones like Josh Skrull, coming in, played like not even 12 games, and
Well,
no one even heard about him, and he comes in, he's a just
Well,
beast.
how about Caden Bolson or Tristan Lemaire? And I mean, really, the list kind of goes on. And I think you'll see, some of these other players that are going to move up in the lineup a little bit too. That are going to get their opportunities. So, really looking forward to watching these guys.
Yeah, before we get into the pipeline, Chad, you guys got anything here?
I just want to hear pipeline.
I just have one quick question on draft picks in the portal. I mean, it's one thing if you're a sixth rounder or a seventh rounder. I mean, teams are kind of drafting you, taking a chance, seeing if you develop into something. But when you get a second round guy, are you kind of nudging them in their portal decisions, or are you kind of leaving them alone? What's your take there?
I think without a doubt. I mean, I think, players that are taken in the second round have advisors, and they have a lot of members of the organization that kind of guide them. And I've heard from some insides, people in the game, they say that MSU is like a top 3 type of development staff. You look at the experience of Troy Ward. I mean, all of our guys have NHL experience in some way or shape or form. And I do think that they're really highly regarded within that community and in the NHL community at large. So I think both of these players is a testament really to our coaching staff and our ability to land these guys out of the portal.
Big. They 100% do. I talked to Polkamp a lot when he was at Bemidji, and he'd be like, yeah, I have at least a phone call once a week with my, the San Jose Sharks player development team. He's like, at least once a week, just like telling me where I should be, where where they want my game to go, after watching this week's film. So I wouldn't be surprised if the top 3 picks or 3 rounds you're getting that.
Sure.
Well, I mean, we're in a day and age when non-drafted players have advisors, so it's everybody's got somebody in their ear, certainly. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to the player. But I do think just landing these guys is a big plus for us.
Yeah.
Our joke earlier was, I think the Pulver family is possibly looking for a new advisor.
The grass is not always greener.
Right?
That's my favorite tweet right now. He's also maybe one of the greatest kids ever, though.
We got about 15 minutes here, John. You want to run us through who's coming in next year, freshman wise? I know it's kind of your bread and butter, so I'll kind of let you run with it.
Yeah. I think it's pretty well determined now. I think most of these players are kind of cemented in. There might be room for 1 or 2, surprises, but most of these players, thankfully, and this has been kind of a trend as well. They're still playing hockey in the Clark Cup. I'll start maybe at the top with Sam Capel, 36 points this year, tied to lead the team in Madison. Well aware, obviously, of his skill set. We thought that maybe he would even come on campus this year, but oftentimes that pays off give them another year in the USHL and gain more confidence. So, I mean, Sam, I say big power forward. He's everyday lineup kind of guy. 2-way player. I'm really excited to get him in. I feel like he's going to be able to step right in and contribute right away. I got obviously Mason Kraft. I think Mason, he struggled a little bit early this year playing the WHL up in Wenatchee. Wenatchee was not a great team this year, unfortunately, but he really started to get together at the end of the year and kind of started to show that offensive upside that we know he has. I think, the key for him is just to get bigger and stronger and faster and just keep working on his body over the off season. I mean, cerebrally, he's a great player. And, his offensive upside will be there, but obviously the coaching staff's going to make sure that he plays a 2-way game. We need the skill. I'm kind of looking up and down the lineup. We've got some skill, obviously, at the top with Luigi, but, we need some guys that can produce on the power play. And, hopefully Mason can just step right in and obviously show us what he did as a high school player and then as a as a junior player as well. Jack Christ, he'll be on campus as well. He's also
Jesus.
playing. Yes. So he's kind of doing Jack Christ things at the right time of year in the USHL playoffs. If you recall, last year he scored a hat trick in the Clark Cup final to win. So he's got a clutch gene, and he's doing the same thing this year. He's got 4 points through 6 games from Muskegon. He's really coming alive. He scored 34 points this year, so great production this year from Jack. Cash Carter, another guy that's going to be on campus, just closed out his junior career with Trail Smoke Eaters. And he scored 26 and 26 this year. Good for second on the team. Another guy that totally put it together at the right time of year down the stretch. So he really kind of grew into his own. Excited to see what Cash can do. And then
Great
one of the
name,
latest. Oh gosh, yeah. There's going to be so many opportunities.
All name team here in Mankato this next season. It's going to be unbelievable.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then one of our more recent commitments, excited about, is Melvin Ekman, Swedish player, just came to North America to play in the USHL, playing in Des Moines. Had a really, really good year. I think, like some of the other Swedes, I mean, I think Zetterberg, certainly they'll room together, because both with a Swedish background. He grew up playing the Djurgården organization, which is kind of the top dog there in Stockholm as far as player development. And his dad is Nils Ekman. He played over 250 NHL games, so he's got some good pedigree there with his dad. Played for a long time. He had like a 25-year career, and so I'm really excited to see what he can do. A real cerebral player. He reminds me, I mean, like I said, those European style guys, even like Zetterberg. I mean, hopefully both of those guys maybe they'll be on the same line. Who knows?
Yeah,
and hopefully they get
Zetty
along
going
with
a little
Lassie, the Finn.
So, John, for lack of a better term, he's the one that replaced Caden Lee, correct?
Yeah. It sounds like Caden Lee is no longer committed. I mean, he, unfortunately ended up in the null. Who knows? These kind of things happen, and even some of the players that we're not going to mention today. There's still with the NIL landscape, it empowers the players, but it also sometimes empowers the team, and so there's gonna be no hard feelings sometimes when if your trajectory isn't what it ought to be. I mean, there's going to be times when there's going to be hard conversations to be had, and that's every team now. So, and then last one, Gus Thorpe, kind of splitted some time this year. He got traded from Des Moines to Muskegon, so he's playing along with Jack Christ together in the playoffs. Muskegon's got a good team, so another one to keep an eye on. Defenseman, shutdown defenseman, great size, great strength. So that's kind of the group that I see coming in. The only other player that we didn't mention that just recently committed was Zach Zimmerman, obviously from Moorhead, and he's playing in Fargo as well. So Zach had an awesome state tournament. He's hopped into the USHL right away. He is. He's a junior. Exactly. So, yep. So he'll probably forego his senior year. Maybe not. Actually, Moorhead's kind of a wagon, so who knows?
They lost their coach, didn't they?
So good.
Yeah, they lost. And then obviously Matt Cullen joining the staff at the U of M. So
isn't he?
I mean, we'll see.
I saw that he was part-time. Do you think he's still going to be the coach of Moorhead and just do hockey ops on the side?
I never know with that guy, because he was assisting with like the Honey Bake program in Detroit. So, I mean, I don't think money's an issue, so he can probably do whatever the heck he wants.
Helicopter in and coach whoever he wants whenever he wants. Must be nice.
God, yeah, no kidding. So, yeah, I think, just as a whole, I feel like MSU's kind of found a sweet spot right now. There's been a lack of commitments since we last talked, to be honest. And I think that's strategic in some ways. Hey. I think they want to afford themselves a little bit more flexibility in the portal. And you look at last year, we had 17 new guys, and somehow, some way, the train kept going. And so in a way, it kind of proves the point that, okay, we can get a new batch of players together, coach them up, and by the end of the year, they're playing their best hockey. And, it is a little bit more risky, I think, to draft a high school kid now with the changing landscape. You've got the Canadian juniors that the talent pool is so much bigger. And, I did see a tweet the other day and it said that it was a record low amount of high school commits this year. And it's because, schools are being a little bit more selective. And I think they want to see the proof in the pudding at the junior level before they're ready to commit. And it's a higher risk, higher reward, obviously, with the local kids. And, it's still fertile ground. But I did see that, it's taken a significant hit. And I think it's because of the portal and teams wanting more flexibility at that time of year.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Chad, what do you got? You got anything here?
I don't know if I zoned out or if these guys weren't mentioned, but I have questions on 3 guys.
Yep.
Will Distad, Graham Greeter, and Aiden Grossklaus. Are they?
Yeah, I think.
Are they not coming, or are they?
No, I think they still are. We're just trying to kind of get to 26, and I mean, Aiden would probably be the closest, as a bubble guy, but we're starting to just kind of count heads here, and
Right.
he might be a player that's going to spend one more year in junior in Wenatchee. I don't know for a fact, but he would be the bubble player. As far as Will, I think he would benefit for another year.
Mm-hmm.
In juniors. These are still young guys. They committed at 17, 18 years old. So, they still have another year to marinate and, become the players they need to be coming in at 20 years old. And then what was the last one that we were talking about? Graham Greeter. Yeah, he had an awesome year in Fargo. But again, he's on his first year, and we've seen a lot of times guys want to play 2 solid years of juniors before they show up on campus. So
absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, and again, there might be 1 or 2 more that slip in here or there, but those are the names that we know are coming that we talked about.
Awesome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I guess before we let you go, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Frozen Four. I mean, seeing the former coaching staff and third of the team.
Wisconsin lost.
Yeah,
that's all you're gonna get from me. And we'll see you in October, Mike. We'll see you in October, Mike.
Yep, that's gonna be a fun one. You coming down for that?
Oh, I wouldn't miss it. Yeah, and I mean, just a little recap, obviously, on the year. Just thought, I obviously went down for the Mason Cup championship game. I mean, for my money, I've been to a lot of games. That was maybe the most fun I've had in a hockey rink. The crowd was unbelievable from the puck drop. Still kind of jazzed about that game and the way things worked out, but Maverick hockey's in a really good spot.
It is. Couldn't agree more. Well, that's about perfect on time. Juts, you got anything more here?
Negatory.
Well,
Awesome.
Congrats,
Chad.
guys, on the podcast. I still listen all the time, and nice to see you guys grow and keep up the good work.
Yeah, well, thanks for taking your time to hop on. I just always way more tidbits than we ever come up with, so we appreciate you getting some good info out there. I know the fans really enjoy it. So
yeah, absolutely, guys.
We
Awesome.
gotta connect for the Wisconsin series.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We might have to do a little reconnaissance down at Mavericks there. So
Yeah, we get you your first plate of poutine. We get you.
Oh, gosh. First play of the day.
If you can put more than 1 plate of that away in a single,
I
day,
can't even put
I
1
would buy
plate
both
away,
of
and I'm
them.
obese. So.
All right, fellas. Well, we'll catch up to you. Go Mavs.
Yeah, make sure you keep your phone open when you the app open. If you close it too soon, everything does potentially get deleted. That
How did
might
we
not
learn
happen
that,
to me.
Juts?
It might have happened to me. Just leave your phone. Leave like the river.
I'll just leave it on until you guys block it out. All right.
Perfect. That
That
sounds
works.
good.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
See ya.
Captain.
All right. Well, huge thanks to John for hopping on. I didn't know that about Saquon's father. Like he's a strength coach for. That was I had no idea. So that love getting little tidbits like that about all those guys. He seems to have more information than anyone on guys coming in and pipeline and stuff like that.
There's an awesome video on YouTube of him being interviewed for something when he was with the development program, and he talks about his dad, he talks about his background and everything. It's a fantastic video if you want to know more about who Will Scahan is.
Drop the link in the group chat.
I'll have to check
there?
that out. But yeah, you guys got anything more for this is episode 59 of the Chattin Mavericks podcast. We're into the off-season content
8 more,
now,
baby.
so we'll...
8 more till the best episode.
Wait, did you say 8 more?
You said 59? Till 67.
Oh, Cam.
Yeah, 8 more.
Are you talking about 69?
No, 67.
No.
Oh, okay. My bad. That's going to be a hell of a couple of weeks there with episode 67 and episode 69 coming out. Juts is going to
have a field day.
Full-on tizzy.
My tism's
Awesome.
going to be... Oh, you were quick with that link, dude.
I guess I'll close with this. As you've probably noticed, not a lot of ads on this episode of Chat Mavericks, and with the season ending, that's usually when our ad cycle ends as well. So if you are interested in being a part of the Chat Mavericks podcast family and you want to advertise here on the show, we'd love to have you. Emails in the show notes, DM us, reach out, yell at us at the grocery store. This is the biggest podcast on Timberwolf Drive, so if you want to get your name out there and get your business out there, we're happy to hear it. You want to do have Juts do an ad read 20 beers deep and 2 beer towers down, we can do that. We're open, we're creative, we'll do whatever. So
someone pay me to get really drunk and do an ad read, please.
There we go. See, so reach out. We'd love to have you. I don't know, fellas, with that, I think that'll do it for episode 59. We'll see you when we see you. Roll Mavs.
Thank you for tuning in to the Chattin Mavericks podcast. Please be sure to leave a review, subscribe, and share. Roll Mavs.